Hello everyone, it's Bob again. This time I will be doing a video on the Tale of Mya Rom. This is, I've never seen anybody do any videos on this book, and I know other people had to have seen it. I did a search online and I saw that there were like a couple of issues for sale on eBay or Amazon. I'm not sure where I got this as a kid. It just kind of magically appeared one day in my pile of comics. I just always assumed that my parents had picked it up at a garage sale or something. Wherever they would have gotten comics for us as a kid is where they got this. From what I understand here, the comic came out, let me see here, 1988. So this came out 1988. This was 2 or 3 years before I really started collecting. I believe 1990 was the year for me that I started getting comics. But we did have comics and such. I remember somehow I had like a couple of Cerebus comics. I'm pretty sure my parents didn't know the mature material that was in a Cerebus comic. They had just seen a cartoon aardvark and said, okay, this will be fine for the kids. This would sit in my comic stack for a while. I would look at it. There was something interesting with it. I liked the artwork when I looked inside, but for some reason, I didn't want to read it. I was still kind of reading superhero comics. I think at the time I was heavy into Spider-Man and Green Lantern. This seemed weird. Also, I have to say, this was like the worst choice for a title font. It's so hard to... I never knew it was called Mya Rom. I thought it was called Mya Rom. I thought that was an R, as that was an R. Or Mirup. I thought that was maybe a P. So yeah, it was very... The font there wasn't great. But you start to see it when you read. You're going to see the name, and then you'll put it together. Another interesting thing with this book, so this book was written and drawn by Sam Dixon, as you can see here, and the entire thing is just penciled. It's not inked at all, which I kind of liked. But I feel that with the pencils, I feel some of it got a little lost. Maybe some of the detail got a little lost in its printing, and there'll be some scenes where you'll see that. But like overall, it's pretty good. I like it. I think this person made the conscious decision to just put it out as pencils and to not ink it in order to get the style that he was looking for. But basically, you have this old man and this little girl here, and she asked him, who's Mya Rom? So right there, you find out what the name was, and he starts to tell the tale of Mya Rom. And it's, just an old legend or whatever, where you have this guy here, Tirmak. He basically rises to power in this kingdom, and once he attains power, his true colors come out as just a horrible tyrant who delights in the pain and suffering of all the other people. So, he's just a horrible ruler. He's out to take over all the lands and just torture and kill anybody because that's where he gets, that's where he has his fun. All right. To that, there is a place called Tama Isle, which fought against Tirmak. And the leader of Tama Isle had a daughter, and that daughter was Mya Rom. Okay. Finally, Tirmak sends all his forces to Tama Isle and decimates their entire army and captures the royal family of Tama Isle and places them in dungeons. He goes through them one at a time, torturing and killing the family until the only one left is Mya Rom. Okay, for 2.5 years, Mya Rom was tortured, and apparently, according to this, also trying to have it he tried to break her mentally by lying to her and such. There is a little creature that pops up, as you can see here, who releases her, but in her mind, she feels that this is just another taunt from this tyrant. She's not buying into that she's really going to escape here. But this little creature helps her out and puts her on a little dragon. She flies away. She flies to another place on Tama, back in her homeland, okay, and crash lands and joins up with the people that are there. She apparently was a very good swordsman before her captivity. She did lose some of that skill in captivity for 2.5 years, but regains it with some training and ends up defeating somebody in a tournament where she gets this magical sword. And basically, the magical sword is it has like a kinetic power to it, but it's also somehow 3 times sharper than the sharpest sword. So there's that. So with this sword, she's like, okay, I'm going to go back now and kill Tiamat Ode and free these people from this tyrant. And of course, this little guy pops up again, and he's like, hey, if you do this, it's going to be suicide. You can't beat him. His forces are too large and such. And Mya Rom's just like, well, we'll see about that. Also, I don't really care. It's happening. So Mya Rom goes back. I actually kind of like this. So here's where I think like some of the detail is missing. But you can tell here with this little mark that that's actually Maya. So it gives it a scope, in size of the how much Maya had to climb in order to get to this window up here. Where she goes in and dispatches some guards and waits for Tiamat Ode to show up. Tiamat Ode does show up, and he is talking to, all of the people in his court and getting them to basically kiss his butt the whole time. When Maya sees him, and she's like, okay, I'm going to jump out here now and stab this guy. And as she does so, the little guy appears and warns the bad guy that Maya is coming. So Maya, drops down, dispatches a bunch of the guards and such until Tiamat Ode shows up. And again, Tiamat Ode had magical powers as well. As you can see here, he is shooting energy beams or such, but causing explosions that throw her straight out the window. And he laughs about it basically, and he's like, hey, if she's still alive, I'm going to win this girl yet, okay? So she comes out of the water. She lands in the ocean. She comes out of the water, and here's this little rodent guy again, and he's got the magic sword that she dropped. And she was going to attack him, but he's like, hey, well, hold on now. If you do this, you're not going to get your revenge against Tiamat Ode, okay? I think it's time that you spoke to somebody, my partner in this, because he may be able to help you achieve your goal, okay? So now we cut back to Mya Rom. She is fighting her way through the city, and I gotta tell you, I kind of like this because she's always just kind of flipping through the air and cutting people, and I really like that. It's almost like she never touches the ground, that she's just kind of flipping and rolling through the air and just slicing off people's heads and such, until she gets to the chamber of Tiamat Ode, okay? She bursts in there, and Tiamat Ode is just like, oh, whatever, you're never going to get to me. I still have guards, and I have my magic power, and I beat you last time. And then Mya Rom does something surprising by plunging this magical sword through her own heart and killing herself. So she does that, and of course, he's just sitting there dumbfounded at first, like, what the hell is going on here? And then he breaks into laughter, because he's like, okay, well, she defeated herself, and I didn't have to waste my time. But then the whole roof of this chamber is sucked up into the sky here and opened, okay? And then apparently a portal opens up, and through that portal comes this demon. And the demon snatches up Tiamat Ode and squeezes the life right out of him, the blood right out of him, and then takes the body away, and the thing shuts, the portal shuts down. And now we're back to the present time of this child talking to her grandpa, and he's telling her, this is the story of the legend of Mya Rom. And the kid is like, well, do you think it was worth it? Do you think it was worth killing Tiamat Ode after all the pain and suffering that he caused? Was death the best option there? And the guy is like, well, it depends on the deal that was made by Mya Rom and this demon. that helped her get revenge. But as we see here, it looks like Tir Makod is trapped in some kind of earthy cage of some kind, and you have like the spirit of uh, of Mya Rom and this demon here, like standing over him. So, it was a pretty interesting comic. This is just a one shot, one story. That was all you got. But apparently, there was a lot of issues that were printed of this. Like, it's not a rare comic, but you never see it anywhere and you never hear anybody talking about it. But apparently, it was around. And I didn't really know that until I had done some research online about it. So it was pretty interesting for that. It's kind of an enjoyable read. I like the artwork in it. It's a nice little story, one shot story by this person. So that's it. That's the end. This is just like I said, me talking about this weird comic that I had that I haven't seen anybody else ever talk about. So I wanted to do something that was just a little original. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like. My name is Bob, and I am currently working on my comic Ghost Girl. Hopefully, within the next month or two, I'm going to be complete. I'm going to have completed that book, and I will be doing a Kickstarter in order to procure funds to produce the book. If you're interested in that at all, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that way you'll be able to stay up to date with any information concerning this book. Guys, again, thanks for watching, and until next time.